singers, some here, some who have passed on, um, from not just here in San Diego, but various areas that share the song cycles style that we have. As far as places like the Grand Canyon, they're singing these songs. You go up and down that river, they're singing these songs. So there's been, in our area, a long time history of people coming in and sharing that tradition with us. So I've had the opportunity to sing with some of their elder singers as well. I have a lot of relatives who sing these songs. Right now, my father sings these songs. I sing with him, and he'll sing with myself, and we have my nephews and my children. So we have three, and sometimes my little great-nephew shows up, and we'll have 4 generations of singers there singing these songs. I have cousins that I'm working with right now to learn. Dan Murphy's here, I think, to speak also, and he sings a different song cycles, but he's my relative as an example. I'm not the only person that sings these songs in our nation. There's a few others, half a dozen others who can lead these songs, and a few of them go all night and sing these songs, and they're my relatives also. So I feel very proud to say that. Same time, when you look at the songs here that I'm speaking of, it's not necessarily a genetic thing. I mean, there's definitely genetics involved. We might describe that as a spiritual connection, the genetics, the idea of genetics. We've always kind of believed that things pass through. We see that when you look at your grandparents and you look at your kids, you can see the resemblance. Sometimes you can hear their voice and the kids and stuff like that. So we know that travels down, that generational knowledge travels down, and then those familial connections travel down. When I look at the image of my mother's great-great-grandfather, he looks like one of my sons. So I see it right there, and I can only imagine what his voice sounds like. Maybe one of my boys will have that same voice. I don't know. That being said, these songs, to understand them, you really have to understand that it's not just in genetics. This is a lifestyle. The sacrifice that goes into this lifestyle is one that it's very hard to explain. You almost have to live it to fully understand it, but it takes over every part of your life. I'm on spring break right now. I should be somewhere with my feet in the air. But I heard bird songs are going to be talked about, and I was asked to be here, so I came down. They always come first, no matter what's going on. I had a child being born in the hospital, but I was asked to sing that morning, so I had to leave my wife in the hospital to go back and sing those songs. And then I went back and seen her in the hospital. They come first all the time. You can be sick, you can be tired, but they come first. They're always on your mind. And so they're not something, the history I teach in my world history class at Granite Hills, I probably accumulated that knowledge in about 5-6 years. I went to go to a university and do my teaching credential work, and I have a master's in education also. And doing all of that coursework, maybe 10 years at the most, I put into learning that knowledge to feel like I can really teach it at a good level. These bird songs, you do it for 10 years, you're still a beginner. You're just starting. You're just starting. I've been doing these, participating in these songs in one form or another for over 30 years now. And I would never come to you and tell you I'm a master at these songs. I'm still learning, and it's just a part of my life. I don't know what it is to be an old man and sing these songs. I don't know what that is yet. I don't know what it is to look for error and have issues with my body. I don't know what that is yet. But hopefully if I live long enough, I'll know what that feels like. I'm a pretty reasonably healthy guy, so I know what it's like to sing these songs as a healthy person. Stay up all night, prepare in that way. But to do it as an old person, I don't know. I know what it was like doing it when my voice was breaking when I was a teenager. I know what that was like. I know the embarrassment of that. I know what it was like being a little kid and having to go do all these serious things, and the respect of having to go shake hands and to give others who've done it before you a respect and be willing to listen to them. I know what that was like because I had to do those things. My children do those things. But to sing as an old man, I don't know what that is yet. So I won't be able to say I'm a master of these things till I get old. I want to provide time for these gentlemen to speak also, so I'm going to wrap it up quick and we'll share more later. But I do just want to leave you with this thought for right now, and that really is that to understand our songs, our history, our heritage, some might say our philosophy, our spirituality, there's almost nothing I can say to really do it a service. No matter what I say or what we do tonight, it's going to be a disservice. It's like going to a historian and saying, tell me about your practice, but you have like an hour to do it. Do you want to know about the book they used? Do you want to know why they chose that part of history? Do you want to know where they learned, or is it the style of history they teach? Do you want to know why it is that they learn that history, not another history? Just so much that goes into what we do and why we do it. This bird song or bird life or shout out to cook or this lifestyle is ancient. It's older than time, and it connects us to the land here. So when we're singing these songs of history, they're the songs of not just our people, but of humans. And they're telling of an ancient connection to this land. Things that are talked about in geologic time. Events that go back 10, 12,000 years and prior. For a long time, people would tell us, well, you've only been here this amount of time. You've been here that amount of time. And we've always asserted that the first humans in San Diego was us. Since time immemorial, we've been here. We are San Diego's first people. This is how we were created. And this is what the earth looked like at that time. And at a later time, this happened. And at a later time, that happened. Now, I can't get into our creation story because that takes days. These songs talk about that creation story. I can't even really share with you the whole entire little bit of these songs. If I started right now and start singing, I could be singing all the way till tomorrow this time. I would not have run out of songs. Take a little break here and there. So that's how many of the songs that I sing in that song cycle. But my cousin here sings another song cycle. He can do the same. Stan sings both, but he sings another song also. There's more than a dozen song cycles that represent what our history is, our philosophy, our heritage, everything. There was probably more before that was taken from us. So to try to speak on any part of that, I really do a disservice to all of it. But I'll try tonight, and I think we're going to do our best, to try to give a better understanding of our songs, because it really does speak to our humanity. It speaks to who and what we are, and it speaks to our ancient connection to this land. There's a lot of locations in San Diego that don't look the way they look today, but they looked that way thousands of years ago, and we talk about those places in our songs. So when someone comes and says to us, did you know, and they're using modern science to explain something to us, a lot of times, yeah, we do know that. We absolutely know that. And we could tell you how, but you never wanted to listen. And excuse us for being poetic in our way of explaining things. Excuse us for being poetic and symbolic and using imagery. Sorry that we like to dance, and sorry we like to express ourselves in music. Every part of this song cycle that I sing has deep, deep meaning. Every part of it. The words has a very literal understanding. Literally, this song is saying this in our language. It's not a chant. It has a very symbolic meaning. I might sing it for a happy time. I might turn around and sing that same song for a very sad time, because maybe it's about journey. Maybe it's about our independent journey. Maybe our journey as a people. Maybe I'm talking about the journey our people took in an exact location. Or maybe it's at a sad time and I'm talking about a spiritual journey from this world to the next. But that one little song could be used in many, many facets because of that. So just to understand, because people ask me, well, what does that song mean? Well, let's get into that. It's going to be an hour conversation to what that one song means. Now let's talk about the other few hundred songs that I sing. Again, it takes more than one day and night to sing these songs. So rich in meaning. The musical instrument, just to make one, it takes so long. It takes a long time to make them. The knowledge it took to go into making those things is generational. You can make one, but it won't be what I have. It just won't be. It won't be the level of quality. I have our musical instrument that is older than me that I still use once in a while. People ask me, what musical instrument do you use? Most people say our rattle, our halma, which is our gourds. But that's only one instrument. Another instrument is our voice, the ability to not lose your voice. Those of you that are educators in the room, you know what it is to speak, to project yourself to a large room, and to do that for hours at a time, days of the week. I teach every day, high school. 3 nights a week I teach college. I lecture all these times. I have to have conversations with my kids. I talk with my voice a lot. Same time, I have to be able to go that weekend and go sing all night. I have to have the ability to go sing maybe 3-4 times a week. I have to use my voice to do that. That is itself is a musical instrument. The understanding of not to sing too much right away, to know how to hold off a little bit. The use of tone, the use of pace, the use of breathing. Your voice is an instrument. I sang choir when I was in high school. And when I told my choir teacher that we will go sing and we will project our voices for 12, 13 hours straight, she thought I was kidding. But that's what we do. We have to have that ability to project ourselves. And not just once and then maybe recover after a week or a month. But we do this 2, 3 times a week, 5 times a week. Again, whatever the people ask. And we do that not for a year or two. We do that until we can't do it no longer. So when we're old people, we're still projecting ourselves. Our bodies have to be able to withstand that. Our bodies have to be able to withstand that. We have to take great preparation physically to be able to stand there. A lot of our songs say get up and dance, so we get up and we dance. To dance all night long, and not give out. Like I said, I'm a young man, I can do that. But when you see old men do that, those are the masters, because they figured out how to do that. Anybody can hoop and holler for 20 minutes, but can you do it all night long? I can, because I've done it, and I do that. Done that since I was a little kid. But you learn as you go. Another instrument that we use for this is our minds, our memory, our hearts. We have to be able to remember these things. To be able to know what song starts first for what you're singing for, and sing the next song, and the next song, and the next song. And when you're tired and you've been up 30 plus hours, to continue to sing the next song, and the next song, and to sing it with meaning, and to know why you're singing that, and to not get mixed up, because some of our songs sound similar. To sing in a certain order that has the meaning that we're trying to project. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when you've been up. Stay up all night, 24 hours. You have to go do something, then do it again. Sometimes staying up 2 nights in a row, and then be able to do that. It takes great humility to sing these songs, because nobody starts out these songs as a leader. Nobody stands up and starts saying, I'm going to sing these songs. It's almost a joke for someone to do that after 3, 4 years, 4 or 5 years, something like that. Because it just takes so much of you to do that. You have to be humble to sit there and listen, because these things are given from somebody to you. Every singer that I know has an old person, an old man somewhere, most likely, who has sat there and put a big chunk of their life into you and sat there and sang that song to you dozens and dozens of times, so you know it. You know the rhythm, you know the words, you know the meaning, and you know the ability to sing what comes next. Not to sit there with a recorder or on the FM radio. Our people long ago didn't have those things. They did that mouth to ear, mouth to ear. That's how I was raised. That's how I raised my boys. They're not hearing it from a tape. They hear it from me every day. So if they sit down and sing an hour of our songs, they got that from listening. It takes great humility to listen to someone else. It takes a lot of courage to be able to get up and try to recite that and mess up sometimes. We all mess up in life. But to continue it in a way that you're not doing it a disservice, you're not disrespecting the people, you're not disrespecting the songs. Because again, it comes first for us. So to understand our songs, you have to understand oral tradition. You have to understand that we don't write these things down, we don't put them down in a simple form, and then come back to it 20 years later. If I want a song that I'm going to sing sung in 100 years from now, I have to sing it to somebody many, many, many times throughout their life so that it's there, it's in their memory, and then they can transmit that to the next generation. That's how our oral tradition works. Now, I know in a history classroom, they like to do hey, let's play the telephone game. I tell you something and tell and tell and tell, and by the time it gets over there, the eagle is in the nest, turns into my beagle is a pest. And you go, well, that's oral tradition. Every generation it changes and it's no good. But that's not how oral tradition works. It's never worked that way, not for our people, because it doesn't work that. I have to say to her out loud in front of everybody, the eagle's in the nest. If she says to this person, the eagle is a pest, and the next person, the eagle is someone's going to get up and say, whoa, he didn't say that. He said the eagle is in the nest. Why are you changing it? So if you're going to be a singer of these songs, you broadcast them in front of your people. And they're your harshest critics sometimes. That's not how I remember hearing it. Where did you learn that? Why do you sing it that way? What does that mean to you? Who is your teacher? So when I go around and I hear other young singers, people getting into the game, they started singing, oh, my great-grandfather was a singer. Well, who was he? When did he sing to you? When did his voice hit your ears? I don't remember seeing you sing with that person. Usually I don't have to say that. Usually people don't have to say these things because we just know. You hear someone get up and sing, and I know where they learned from because I can hear their teacher through them. For a long part of the process, you're literally copying your teacher. You're copying them verbatim. Exactly how they sing, exactly how they breathe, down to how they dress, down to how they behave sometimes. Not always the best thing if your teacher's a little crazy. But we do that. We copy them all the way down. You can't copy them enough because they put a lot into that. They put a lot into be what they are. And for a lot of singers, that's all they are. That's all they have. For me, you can do a lot of things to me, but if you took my bird away from me, I don't know what I would do. I know one day I'll look back and say that's all I have. Because I put so much into it. It's all I do. It's all I do. Everything I do has something to do with that. It's just how I live my life. People can like it or not like it. It's just something deep inside of me that I don't know that I can really fully explain. I think you have to almost live that to understand that. It's a really bad addiction is what it is maybe. I don't know. But you're always part of the process. I remember being young, getting up singing these songs and just hacking them, sounding terrible, doing it wrong. But I did it anyways because I couldn't help it. I was just a young punk kid. I still am in some ways. But it was just something I had to do. And so from there I start growing. The stage of a learner to a stage of a learner who's willing to lead these. I was asked to lead these. My dad, he's in the audience here, he's a singer of these songs. His health wasn't good. A lot of times he goes somewhere to sing and I'd end up taking over the song anyway. So just go ahead, go sing. I want you to go sing. I started singing those songs at that time. My brothers all sang. And you know what? They were good singers, but it just wasn't in them to do it. Anybody can pick up a gourd and hum a tune, but to live this lifestyle, it's so taxing. It really has to be in you or you cannot do it. So then I ask you, think about all your historian friends you know. Think of all the people that teach history and all the different subject areas out there. Did they get up and do they think about that practice every day of their life? All the moments. Are they at family functions thinking about what they're going to teach or what they taught or their understandings of a historical period? Do they do that? Do they do that? Because we, as I guess you could call us historians, we're not musicians because this is a lot more rich than that. That's almost disrespecting it, just saying we're simple musicians. We do that, and we've always done that. I've done that since I was a little kid, all the way up. My kids do that. Every singer that I know that sings these songs and does it, they do that. It's part of them at all moments, at all times. And if you don't do that, you never have it. You'll never have it. You'll never have these songs. You can get in there and help out, and that's fine. We all need help. But you'll never be able to lead these songs. You'll never be able to sit there and sing all day and night and have it come out of you in a good way. It'll never happen. And so when you think about the sophistication of these songs, the ability to project yourself in a large room over hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, we don't make that up. That's trained and taught to us over a lifetime. The ability to recall our songs, the ability just to sing them and sound good sometimes when you're not feeling good or when you're injured. The sophistication of that knowledge, of that knowing is so rich, so dense. You can't learn that in a generation. That's generational knowledge. And every generation has had the opportunity to add a little bit to that. So when I sing, I'm a nobody. And 100 years from now, no one's going to care that I was here. But those songs I sing will continue if I do what I'm supposed to do, which is to teach the next generation. And they will probably add a little bit to it also, because they will live in different times. As my dad always says, we're not rocks. People think of us Indians, we're in rocks to be curated into a museum and there go look at them. But that's not it. We're humans. We're people. For anything, we're more like water and now we're fluid and we move. But no one ever goes to a puddle and says, hey, when did this water, how old is water? How old is water? They don't do that. But we've been here a long, long time, since before time. We've been here, and the stories of all of that is in our songs. It's in our songs, and it's in this lifestyle. So even the idea of calling them bird songs, it's a discredit because you're really only talking about 1 or 2 song cycles. We have more than a dozen. But it's more of a lifestyle. It's a philosophy. I wouldn't call it a religion because I think that minimizes it. It's bigger than that. it's our knowledge. I don't even know how you describe that. But hopefully these guys will do. Hey, Will. But thank you. Again, my name is Raul Chrisman.